Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Radium and today I have another Calamity mod Death Mode boss guide, in which today we're going to be taking on another infamously difficult boss from the mod, Yharon. This boss causes so many people issues and serves as the hardest boss for many people actually. As for the gear you're supposed to have using at the time, this boss is just incredibly hard, doing insane damage for minor screw-ups and just punishing you for doing literally anything wrong. So I figured today I was going to cover a simple guide on how you can easily take down this boss, as there are some very easy tricks that can make this fight a hell of a lot easier. Starting off with the loadouts, the armor you're going to want to main this time around is definitely the Godslayer armor. You get this from combining endothermic energy and nightmare fuel, as well as cosmolite bars from the Devourer of Gods. This armor has a great set bonus and great attributes, which will really help you on your way to defeating Yharon. In terms of weapons, there are a lot of good choices after you defeat the Devourer of Gods. They're pretty much 100% different from last time, due to the amount of upgrades you can make from cosmolite. And all of them are perfectly valid in their own ideas. I will be using melee for this guide, because I never really used melee all that much, and I figured I wanted to try it out. Alright, in terms of mandatory accessories, there's two I'd say are necessary: the Asgardian Aegis and the Elysian Traces. These two accessories are basically an upgraded version of the Seraph Traces and the Elysian Aegis I was using last time. And both of them just provide dashing and mobility, just like the previous two boss fights. Apart from that, there are a bunch of great class-specific accessories you can use, which can really help you on your way. What I mean by that is an accessory that only benefits one class, and feel free to use any of those. Now, in terms of miscellaneous accessories, there are so many this time around. After you defeat the Devourer of Gods, there is a significant upgrade, due to cosmolite bars being able to pretty much upgrade everything. So some of the ones I'd recommend personally are the Rampart of Deities, the Sponge, the Amalgam, and Core of the Blood God. All of those are great for every class, and you're pretty much set if you can do that. With that said, I'll be showing you the arena quickly. This is what I'm doing. It's a big box. Some of you may question my building of this box, but quite frankly, Yharon traps you in a certain area with two tornadoes, and if you leave those two tornadoes, the boss becomes enraged, which makes it immensely more difficult than before. With that said though, I'm pretty sure it's about time we get into the fight. So you spawn this boss using the Dragon Egg, which is crafted from 15 Effulgent Feathers and 15 Life Alloy, which you can get as early as post Moonlord actually. Alright, let's summon the boss. Alright. This boss honestly shares quite a few similarities with Duke Fishron, and he'll start by doing 3 dashes towards you, but every other set of dashes he'll do an enraged dash, which is significantly faster. You'll see there, that was it. The best way of doing this phase is keeping your distance and staying zoomed out on the map, and just spamming projectiles at him. For example, he'll do it here, and even if you get hit, accessories like the Core of the Blood God, the Amalgam, and that will all help you keep your health relatively high. After a while, he will go into phase 2, which is a slightly different dashing pattern. You will learn it after a while, but the gist of it is 4 dashes, with the 4th being an enraged dash, and then 3 dashes. It's quite simple to remember after a while. And although I'm not doing all that well, feel free to use certain accessories and items that you feel suit this battle better. Now, I'm honestly doing amazing damage against him. You may not be doing as good damage, but you'll be doing great damage no matter what, because at this stage of the game you're starting to get your hands on the best of the best. I've done a good amount of good recommendations, and I have tried out all the recommended items. All of them do work perfectly. Alright, now we're heading into the next phase, which is infamously difficult for a lot of people. He will do 4 dashes of Enrage, and then 3 Enrage dashes, all of which are at maximum speed. So this phase is extremely difficult. The best way of managing it is flying upwards and doing very minimalistic movements left and right. It is just incredibly hard to keep up with, but if you're using the Core of the Blood God, you can most likely tank any mistakes. As you can see there, I just narrowly avoided it. And I believe we're hitting the final phase. This works like the final phase of Duke Fishron's fight. He'll do 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash. Then he'll do 4. And now he'll do 5. It's very easy to remember. Then it goes back to 1. Goes to 2. Goes to 3. Goes to 4. And then you've done it. That's all the fight is the first time round. He'll deem you an unworthy opponent and flee the battle, unfortunately. But it's okay because you managed to get the Yharon treasure bag for yourself, which contains the Yharon's gift, a great accessory in its own right, and a bunch of different items such as the Burning Sky, the Flame Barrage, and the Infernal Spear. All of these are pretty damn good items, and if smart, you can actually use them for second phase Yharon. But after you do that, the main incentive of defeating the Yharon for the first time is unlocking the Solar Eclipse. After you defeat Yharon for the first time, or get him down to 10% HP, the Solar Eclipse becomes super buffed and allows you to access Dark Sun fragments. So for the second time defeating Yharon, I'm going to give you another adjusted loadout for this, which you guys will be able to see very shortly, and I'm going to hand over to post-editing Radium for commentary now. Okay everybody, after you defeat Yharon, you're able to access the Dark Sun fragments. This is used to craft the Silver Armor, which is a minor upgrade to Godslayer, and I'd heavily recommend using it for the Yharon fight, as it's just ever so slightly better in every way than Godslayer. For your weapon upgrades, I'm only giving 1 upgrade because from my experience there's 1 weapon for each class which is significantly better than all the others. And I wouldn't change anything else in your loadouts, as all the accessories are pretty much there. And there's not really any changes you can make, honestly. As the fight starts though, you will notice I've changed up my arena, and I'm using the arena I used for Midas's Prodigy, my Mage series. This arena works a lot better for the second phase in my opinion, as it allows you to constantly be able to move more precisely than having a single row of platforms. I'm terribly sorry for the lag in this. For some reason the fight just didn't decide to run, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's okay. You'll see I'm using the Cosmic Shiv here and it's absolutely destroying the boss. I can assure you that all the other recommendations work just as well as this, if not better. But with some of the weapons I recommended, there may be a tiny bit of lag if you don't have an amazing PC. I'm not really giving advice over this phase because this is the battle we've already done. And this is what confuses some people. Many individuals believe that this was the end of the fight. When they get the boss down to 10%, they've nearly done it. That's not how this works with Yharon, unfortunately. But the new weapons and items should help minimize the damage of realizing you're not even close yet. Anyways, you don't really need to strategize as much as you were before, because the boss won't be doing as much damage to you, and the set bonus of the Silver Armor will protect you if you really screw up that badly. As what it does is it grants you immunity to all damage for 10 seconds, but every time you reach 1 HP, you lose 100 hit points until you die. And this caps at 400 HP, and then you just die regardless, no matter how many times you get hit. Alright, here is the second phase. In this phase, Yharon stops dashing so much and becomes more of a ranged boss to fight. He does continue dashing at you, but it's less significant than last time. It's a very hard pattern to gauge, but he spams tornadoes and those small circular projectiles all around your screen. Ignore me being cocky and turning my background off to prevent lag. That's not something you guys should do in this fight. But the best way of doing this is honestly just going in a circular movement to spread out the projectiles across the entire arena, and then dash occasionally to avoid the boss. Technically, if you're smart about it, you don't need the dash as such, like you did for the Devourer of Gods or the Old Duke. But it's still incredibly nice to have, and I wouldn't replace it with anything else. You'll see the Cosmic Shiv is making extremely quick work of this phase, and any of the other recommendations can do this kind of damage, given the right loadouts. Rather than having an immensely diverse amount of phases this time, where in the first phase, Yharon's 4 phases were pretty much completely different to each other, this boss shares several similarities with each phase, and every phase increases the intensity of the battle. and it's pretty much just an amplified version of the previous phase. That's the best way of putting it. Okay. So you shouldn't really be struggling too much, as it's similar to the teleportation attacks combined with the ranged fireballs, which he was shooting before. It is quite simplistic, honestly. Just keep going in circles and get him down to about 20% HP, which is where the fight really starts to kick in. This is his last stand, I guess you could call it. He'll do 2 dashes towards you, then a teleportation. Then he'll spam projectiles and very quickly repeat. At this stage it's pretty much a DPS race, but try and stay calm and coordinated. Keep going for your strategy and don't do anything stupid for the sake of extra damage. You should have this, and for hardcore players, be careful because that swarm of fireballs after he dies will instantly kill you if you're unlucky. So with that said, that's pretty much the end of the fight. I'm sorry this guide's slightly longer than usual, but it's the best way of showing the battle. And this fight is mandatory as it serves as the penultimate battle in Calamity as of now. With that said, I just have to say thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.